What did you think of Primacy looking from a long way away yesterday?
I thought Primacy looked pretty good. I think Primacy can be competitive in any races in which he runs in the autumn. The Doncaster, of course, has been suggested, but it will be interesting to see what sort of penalty he gets for the Newmarket win.
Keith, the fastest Newmarket on record, not the track record. Your feeling on this 3-year-old?
It's a fabulous win, 1:8.3. That's only 0.3 of a second outside final Cards track record. It was a culmination, Bruce, of very well-laid plans that included a bit of a blind that maybe fooled the handicappers, and Primacy got into this race very well with 52 kilos. He's in the Doncaster well too with 51. I think he can run 1,600 metres. Max, Doncaster chance after yesterday's Newmarket win?
Again, Keith, it depends on what Morieho, the AJC handicapper, does to him. You've mentioned he's fooled one handicapper. I don't think Morie's about to let him fool another one.
Did Deposition get a penalty from Wednesday?
A half-kilo penalty for beating a very average field. That just might be the feather that breaks Deposition's back.
OK, let's go to the Newmarket. Look for the inside. Mukhtar's on the outside, but the inside Primacy sitting just off the pace.
Already racing now. And Primacy jumped out pretty well towards the inside with Keita beginning quickly, and so did Matilla. Take the Road Office began very fast. Turn to Dundee is crossing quickly, and Victory Dias is up in a handy position, being followed by Welcome Night, and just in behind them is Yachty and Spanish Mix. Whilst down the grandstand side, Mukhtar is the leader out there from Black Rouge, followed by Alias Combination Surti. Blue Boss is in behind them, Western Voyage, followed by Not Related and Storaya. They're racing down past the 800 metre mark on the flat side rail. It's turned to Dundee by a length and a half. Primacy on the outside of Matilla. Take the Road close up, and Victory Dias in the picture. They're followed by Welcome Night, and back behind them came Yachty, followed by Jack Pill. A bit further back then Blaylock's Bull Thing, followed by Let's Hurry. Spanish Mix is a fair way back with Keita, and down the grandstand side Mukhtar is clear here of Black Rouge running on Alias Combination, and Blue Boss is in behind them, followed by Surti, and Storaya switch to the centre, is starting to run home pretty well. Primacy's hit the front down on the flat side, is nicely clear of Victory Dias, and down the grandstand side now it's Mukhtar, and Storaya finishing very fast, but Primacy on the flat side rail as well, clear of Victory Dias, getting close to home. Primacy will win the Newmarket. Primacy wins it from Victory Dias. Keita, I think, may have been third.
Yes, he looks a good one, maybe not a great one, but he's a very, very handy sprinter. Greg, you rode Jack Pearl, drawn 6. Just tell us about the inside and the outside. There was tremendous conjecture yesterday surrounding the value of both positions.
Yeah, well, the opinion was, Bruce, that it was fine to go down the outside, but you had to be hard up against the rail, which there was only room for one, which was always going to be Mukhtar. And if you couldn't do that, you had to try and look for the crown.
And what about the fence? Because leaders weren't winning yesterday. We saw a number of leaders run over the top. Was it better 2, 3, 4 off the rail?
Yeah, I mean, Primacy won down there, but like we said,
he was 2 or 3
well
off.
In weights and everything. Yeah, and yeah, I do believe you had to be 2 or 3 off. There's a lot of sand on that track.
OK, let's go to the Francis Tressity. This is Greg, who rode a big double yesterday. He won the Blood Horse on Fine Recipe, and he won the Francis Tressity on Terrare. She runs down Lovey.
They're up past the 800 metre mark, and Lovey appears to be travelling well. She leads by a length. Astro Franco close handy, so is Cushion on the inside third. They're closely attended by Terrare, True Spirit on the outside of Trina. Then Knights Contessa being followed by Bold Alliance, Ramyar, Viva La Fun and Demelda as they straighten up with 550 to run. And held together it's Lovey over a length in advance of Astro Franco, close handy, Cushion third. Down the outside making a claim now is Terrare, followed by Knights Contessa. Then True Spirit followed by Trina, and Bold Alliance finishing on well from a fair way back, but Lovey is going strongly, coming to the 200. Here comes Terrare down the outside in hot pursuit, and wider on the track than Bold Alliance. Terrare on the outside coming at Lovey. Terrare is level. Terrare is going home the better. She puts her head in front with 80 metres to go, and she's drawing clear Terrare. Terrare won by a length and a quarter Lovey. Third home is Trina.
Well, Gavin Kelly lost Reading during the week for the autumn, which was a body blow, but Terrare is flying. And Greg, what's her immediate future?
She's off to Sydney now, Bruce. There's a real good mares race up there. I think it's at Rose Hill, is it? 1,500
yeah,
metres?
worth about 300,000.
She's going straight into that, which is Saturday week, and she'll acquit herself well too.
Are you going to ride her?
Yeah, yes.
Greg, she's big and she's big striding. Flemington, obviously, is her track. Rose Hill, any way that she might not handle that? She doesn't handle the valley down here.
No, well, Rose Hill's a lot better than the old Rose Hill now, so I think she'll handle it because the 1,500 metre start comes from a long shoot, and she'll have plenty of time to get on her right leg and everything.
Let's turn our attention to Sydney Warwick Farm, the Chipping Norton, a sensation after the race, Max. Rough Habit, the worst run of his career. And what's this about 2 jockeys, brothers, the Cassidy boys, almost coming to blows after the race?
Oh, I don't think you can blame Rough Habit firstly for the worst run of his career. It was probably the roughest run of his career. The interference was said to be worse than that in the Cox Plate. Rough Habit was lucky to stand on his feet. Jim Cassidy was most irate with his brother Larry Cassidy, who according to reports might have been lucky to be on his feet after Jim had finished with him. Blows are alleged to have been thrown. I asked Jim, he said no, rough language but no blows. But then as Mandy Rice Davies once said, Bruce, I suppose he would say that, wouldn't he?
So these are the Bopalong Cassidys, aren't they, Max?
Pretty nice competition.
Oh, gee, so, well, Rough, that explains the run because it was indescribable, his performance, when you looked at it yesterday, remembering he was 13-4 into 2-1, which is a decent sort of a go. Kinjite can't quite find the line. Maybe this winner is pretty good. Let's have a look at the Chipping Norton.
Into the straight on, Kylie's run the leader over Ruquin, and Kinjite on the outside is stoking up and closing on them fast, followed by Captive Edition, Kingston Bay, and then Mighty Tango and Planet Ruler. Kinjite dashed to the lead at the 200 mark. The 3-year-old Kingston Bay getting into second place. Then Mighty Tango followed by Mahia. Kinjite in front though. Kingston Bay is finishing fast. He's picking up the leader. Kingston Bay went home far the better and got up on the line to beat Kinjite, much to the elation of jockey Aaron Kennedy. Now Mahia's in a photo for third with Mighty Tango, followed by Planet Ruler.
Planet Ruler got third. Aaron Kennedy's first Group 1. This is a pretty good horse. The Freedmans apparently offered $250,000 for this horse about 2 months ago, Max.
Yeah, they're probably cheapskates, Bruce. I hope Greg noted one of his old sparring partners there, Mahia. Mahia is a 3-year-old filly, put up a very good performance, struck a lot of interference, not as much as Rough Habit. Incidentally, Aaron Kennedy was suspended after the race for causing interference to Mahia. But Mahia, a very good run. Kingdom Bay, a very promising horse. And as you pointed out, Planet Ruler is not a spent force yet either.
OK, let's look at the Surround Stakes for the 3-year-old fillies and the favourite. Very good run, skating her first win at 1400.
Now they're starting to pick up speed a bit, and skating in the centre just led Slight Chance. Zodiac misses 3 deep, and Love Comes to Town is travelling 4 wide as they near the corner. Then Mingling Glances followed by Burst. Flitter on the fences, flat to the boards. A gap to Pomperia and tailed right off his Autumn Collection as they come around the turn. Into the straight now, skating in the centre just led Slight Chance, who's being hard ridden. Zodiac Miss on the outside. Burst is hard ridden as they turn for home, but it's skating in front at the 200 mark. In fact, she dashed away from Slight Chance. Burst on the outside, running on pretty well, followed by Mingling Glances. Skating in front, 100 out. Mingling Glances running a very big race in second spot, but skating is too good, and skating wins the Surround a half length to Mingling Glances. A big run, the second filly. Flitter has run third. Slight Chance misses the place.
Well, the order seems to be changing, Max, with Slight Chance and Burst now struggling.
Well, they will sluggle in races that are run like that, Bruce. It was a sit and sprint home, certainly suited skating, didn't suit Slight Chance. Incidentally, Slight Chance was hampered by a plover that was in the grass. The bird flew up and certainly balked Slight Chance. She also stumbled a couple of times. I mentioned the plover, Bruce, because we had a tragedy here last year when Noel Barker died following injuries received in a barrier trial at Randwick. A seagull was responsible for that. So birds can be dangerous, and I don't know whether Greg Hall has ever run into a bird, but perhaps he could give us what it's like from a jockey's point of view.
Has it happened to you, Greg?
It has actually, once at Moonee Valley, coming down to the school there, and there was seagulls there, and it just sort of timed it wrong, and it was in me lap here, and I stood up in the irons, and it was when Brian Gilders was riding, and I stood up in the irons and it went out the back and hit him in the head. Another way of getting them beat.
Did you win? Did you win the race?
No, I didn't, Bruce. No, but it was in there for some time.
Right. Just a bird in the lap.
Yeah, better than the hand.
Just go back to Mahia for a moment. Do you think you can get the ride in the Oaks?
I spoke to him before this preparation. No, I'd love to ride. I think she'll be a super ride over. Like Max said, she's coming right at the right time. She'll be a super ride over the carnival there.
Well, the Liverpool City Cup produced a controversial finish. Friends Venture looked home in the straight. Pharaoh fought back strongly.
Heads a turn for home. Prince of Praise flat to the boards, headed by Romantic Governor. 3 deep Cavalier, 4 deep Spearman. There's a rails run there for Pharaoh, who's coming through. He might be in the finish, and Friends Venture down the extreme outside. At the 200, Spearman tackled by Pharaoh. Friends Venture on the extreme outside has rushed up to them. Friends Venture takes the lead inside the 100 from Pharaoh, and Friends Venture drawing away. No, he's not. He's just in front. Pharaoh has kicked. Pharaoh has kicked on the line and might have even worried him out of it. There's nothing in it. Don't know. Friends Venture or Pharaoh in a desperately close one.
Well, is he a golden slipper? He won't win the golden slipper, Max. He's too old, but won the Tats Cup, second in the Villiers. It's a terrific performance first up.
Yeah, very good performance, but I don't think he'll worry primacy. An interesting point about yesterday's racing, Bruce, is we've had a drought in Sydney, yet a lot of the jockeys felt that the track was rain affected. The track had been heavily watered. You'd notice the clogs being kicked up there, but the point is they ran brilliant time, and John Wheeler, the New Zealand trainer, enlightened us on why they run such brilliant times in New Zealand. He said when you get a rock-hard track and you water it, they run 6 in 1/8 something, and that was the circumstances at Warwick Farm yesterday. They'd put a lot of water on it, but the horses seemed to enjoy it.
Interesting. Golden slipper market after yesterday, not a lot of moves. Tolo Harbour and Dancing Dynamite were impressive, but Masque's favourite at 5-2 over the Greg Hall Mount Lady Jackie-O at 3-1, and still Gold Bros to go in, but he did trial well during the week. A break, we preview the Australian Cup after this.
This can't be happening.
Cup has produced some memorable performances. Bone Crusher versus At Talac. Better Loosen Up at his absolute top 2 years ago. Let's Elope extraordinary with her acceleration last year. Keith Hillier, I wonder if we're going to see something a little out of the ordinary tomorrow with Viander Cross.
Well, it's shaping up like that, Bruce. Viander Cross's even money favourite he was last night and Star of the Realm at 3-1. But we've had a lot of rain at Flemington. It's been soaking all night, and of course that must swing everything even more into Viander Cross's corner.
And the only other horse I guess it will suit that's got some hope would be Mannerism. She did beat Viander Cross in the Caulfield Cup, but you just wonder if she's going well enough in this preparation.
I think she's waiting for a wet track. Hopefully she won't get it tomorrow. Hopefully the track will improve, Bruce. We're in for a drying day today and the rain has stopped, but there was a lot of overnight rain.
Let's assess the chances, and we go to the Carline Cup last Sunday. Viander Cross ridden by Mick Dittman. And, well, he just did the job magnificently, didn't he? About to go right up past them. He saw the inside running rail at Caulfield. He handled it all right. He missed the start a bit, Greg, and I guess from a jockey's point of view, is that a worry? He missed the start in the McKinnon as well.
Yeah, he missed it that day. Last season he was here, and he seems to do that a bit, but...
What do you think of him?
Oh, he's a great horse. I wouldn't be one about missing the start on him. He can pick it up at the end pretty quick. He's got a great turn
He can
of
miss
foot,
the start and win.
Yeah, he's a very good horse.
Well, you're riding Prince Saleri, who's been third the last 2 years, but behind two super horses in Better Loosen Up and Let's Elope. What are his chances, do you feel, in this race?
Well, he's going to... Look, he'll run a great race, that horse, because he's so honest in that, and George will have him 100% for tomorrow, and the beauty about him is he's going to be box-seated. He's going to be second and third in the race, which is a big bonus in weight for age races.
Keith, your feelings on Viander Cross? You had a good look at him last Sunday?
I think he'll win very easily, Bruce. I think he's an outstanding horse, and this will set the scene for the inevitable clash of he and naturalism, and that will be the race of the decade for sure.
Max, you would have seen it on closed circuit, Viander Cross, better than he was even in the spring?
Well, he was very good in the spring. I'm a Viander Cross man in everything until he comes up against naturalism.
You're preferring naturalism at this stage?
At this stage, but we've still got a few weeks to go.
Bruce, can I take you back only 1 week, or two perhaps? Star of the Realm, like Viander Cross, naturalism, all wrapped in one.
Yeah, on that one performance. Let's have a look at that performance, and I'll defend that, what you say is a silly statement. He's out of the picture at the moment. What I'm saying, I reckon this horse, when he fires, is as good as naturalism and Viander Cross. The difference is that he doesn't fire so often. He seems to only have one run each preparation. It was the Derby as a 3-year-old. He didn't fire in the autumn. He did run very well early on in the spring. What about you, Greg? I mean, I don't want you to support me. I don't need your help in this. I can stand on my own 2 feet. But your feelings on Star of the Realm?
Well, John Marr, I've rode this horse in his work, and John Marr knows this horse very well now, and you can see John's space in his runs, and that's when he races best. Like you say, he sort of loses it towards the end, you know. He never had a big preparation for a Derby winner.
No, he didn't, and in fact his form going into the Derby was ordinary. OK, Max, I'm looking forward to this. Can he beat Viander Cross? The tip, by the way, at Flemington yesterday was enormous, Star of the Realm. Very strong stable support. The weather won't help him. Do you think he's got any hope?
Well, I hope the tip is sufficiently big enough to force his price in and Viander Cross's price out.
OK, what do you think, Keith?
I'm in 100% agreement with my good friend Max.
For the first time, let's look at the market. Viander Cross evens at the moment. Gee, you'd almost love to get it, wouldn't you? 3-1 Star of the Realm, 9 Mannerism, and Greg Hall's Mount Prince Saleri at 12 to 1. Durbridge looks out of it if the rain keeps coming, and maybe Fra's not quite the class, but it should be a super race. Max, Social Path, we've got to talk about this horse, the 2-year-old that was beaten at 10 to 1 on during the week at Newcastle. What's the latest on the situation? I mean, there's even been a feeling that something strange might have happened before the race. Here he is in about 3rd placing, trying to get at these 2 leaders.
Social Path was never going well. He never displayed the speed which he's got. He was always in trouble. Let's come straight to the point that there has been a feeling that Social Path may have been nobbled. I cannot understand why he wasn't swabbed. The chief steward maintains that Brian Mayfield-Smith, the trainer, and also the vet felt he had a low-grade virus. But I think when a 10's-on chance gets beaten, I'd say straight to the swabbing stall. When he gets beaten like that, I'd get him there extra quick. I don't know whether he was nobbled. He was beaten at the end about 4.5 lengths. When they got at, or with the substances we know, like Timolol, they get beaten 20 lengths. He certainly...
he might be that good. He might have won by 15.
Well, there you go.
Take the 5 off. Who knows? I mean, I know it's, you know, you've got to be very careful and you can't be flippant in this situation, but it's amazing he wasn't swabbed.
Well, the bottom line, Max, is that you mentioned that the trainer and the vet thought it was a virus coming on. Stewards seemed to accept that. But now it seems that that's not the case and that the horse is now back on the road to Rose Hill.
Yes, I spoke to Mayfield-Smith yesterday. He said the horse is bright. He can still find no explanation for the run. As far as he's concerned, he would have liked the horse to have been swabbed, because he said then you would know for sure that the horse wasn't got at, that you could look into other avenues. But he can find